Hello. Hello. My name is Jim Elizondo. I am so happy to see you all here. I am from Real Wealth Ranching, where we help ranchers achieve maximum profitability while improving their land the fastest. My focus is on implementing low-cost biological methods to where you can bring harmony to your life, your land, and your livestock. I also consult worldwide on very different environments. Today, I am going to talk to you about numbers, the numbers behind real wealth ranching, where we use the four basic pillars of total grazing, adapted genetics and selection guidelines, short and correct calving season, and nutrition, to where we can bring and get the best of everything. We need to use these four pillars, where the profitability and soil improving techniques rest on. When I started ranching in 1990, I bought my first ranch. I only have two. I knew how to graze correctly. I knew also that the highest number of livestock I could have at a low cost per ranch per year would determine profits, because I could divide my expenses in more heads than if I had less. And I also was good at nutrition. But I was lacking in the very important part of genetics and adapted genetics and selection guidelines. I had been taught the conventional method, and we were coming out with the bundle of the Total Grazing Core online course and adapted genetic selection guidelines soon, so where you can subscribe and already pre-register and get a better deal on those. Okay, now I would like to start by telling you that when you want to comment on live StreamYard, you need to grant permission to StreamYard so your name can be seen, so you can ask questions, because this is going to be an interactive session. Okay, now I would like to bring you to the Ranch Profitability Calculator. I hope you can all see it well there. Hello, Brian. And if not, please post a comment so I can see and try to make it better for you. Okay? Okay, first I'm going to explain how we build this and how you can use it, because you need to use it and plug in your own numbers so you can play it around with different scenarios, and you yourself can then decide what is best for you. I've been told that it doesn't, you cannot see it. Okay. Can you see the Excel there? Or is that better? Or this is better? I need to know which one is better. Oh. Okay. Okay. So this will be the right one. Okay. So first, down here, where it says calculator, reference, body score, body condition score, and pregnancy percentage, you need to know that, because by clicking on those, you can change what comes out in the screen. This is a calculator. When to click on reference, these are the values that we used. So you can refer to them if you change your numbers. You can go back and reset those numbers. This is the body condition score that we used is from the University of East Virginia, I think. And there you can rank or score your cattle on average to know what percentage pregnancy you can expect from that. Because depending on the body fat, the percentage of body fat or body condition score is the pregnancy rate that you can get. This will not be exactly as it's here in your particular ranch, but it helps you to make decisions. Remember, all this has assumptions, has maybe different numbers, but the relationships and the basic principles will be the same any part of the world. Okay, so now let's go back to the calculator. This is a ranch profitability calculator. When changing from conventional management to real wealth ranching using our 4 pillars, the return on investment, return on capital invested can be tripled and your profitability can be increased 3 to 5 times. The instructions. Enter your own ranch number on the designated areas, which are these. You see this first rows, that's where you can change your numbers and plot your own numbers. We recommend you keep the assumptions by real wealth ranching for your first scenario, which is this one. Let's say acreage, you put how many acres you have, cost per acre, acres per cow, in this case it was 5 acres per cow, average cow weight in your herd, in this case it was 1,400 pounds. Hey, hello, Pablo. Hello, Jonathan. Hello, Javier. Hello, David. Hello, Marco. I'm glad you're all here. Then the body score that you got from examining your cows, this is an actual number you have to come up with. The average winning weight in your cows, I put 525 pounds, an average between males and females, but it depends on your particular situation. Hello, Marco. The annual direct cost, that only you know how much you spend per year in your ranch. So this is a number I just put there on a normal conventional ranch. Annual supplement and mineral costs and the price per cow, because we need to know how much a cow costs. Then these are the assumptions that I use here. Average cow weight per real wealth ranching guidelines. Why a smaller weight? Instead of 1,400 pounds, I went to 950 pounds. Because a shorter frame cow is more efficient. So I will prefer a slightly shorter cow that is fuller, as I'm going to explain in the adapted genetics selection guidelines course. The equivalent number of shorter cows in the same acreage is 1.34. That means that I can put 1.34 cows of 950 pounds, where I can carry 1 cow of 1,400 pounds. If you divide 1,400 pounds by 950, it comes up to 1.38. And that's what most people, even the universities, believe. But it's not true, because cows consume dry matter according to their metabolic size. And that has to do, as I'm going to explain in the course, that has to do with the actual weight raised to the 0.75 potency, because that has to do with how fast the metabolism of the animal is. That's why sheep can consume 4 to 6% dry matter of their body weight, while cows are challenged to consume 3%. Most in a low quality forage diet consume around 2% of their body weight as dry matter. So this 1.34, I have to be honest and tell it as it is. So a shorter animal consumes more grass per 100 weight versus a taller animal. In this case, 10% higher consumption per 100 weight. An increase in price per pound of the calves for smaller calves is normally it's a 10%. So I just assume that it's a 10%. And the the direct cost will be increased. When I double the stocking rate, they will be increased 27%. Why? Because direct costs include costs such as utilities, depreciation of fences, water troughs, equipment, pasture cleanup, mowing, consulting fees, accountant, and that doesn't vary much when you increase your stocking rate. So to where the direct costs will not double and triple when you double or triple your stocking rate. Then that's unconventional is 27% under real well ranching, where we doubled, but by 1.34 is more than double because there are smaller cattle or cows. It's 94% higher direct cost. And I have to write it down. When I tripled the stocking rate under real well ranching scenario or basics, the direct cost increased 140%. Now the increased supplement and mineral cost. When I double the stocking rate on conventional, it's a little more than double, 210%. On the real world ranching is 240%. Why? Because we have many more cows, as we will see. We can see it down here. Conventional will have 148 cows, double conventional, the double, 296, but real world ranching with the 4 pillars, calving at the right time with the correct nutrition and the right genetics selected correctly, we have 396 a double and 594 a triple. Where did this number come from? 296 times 1.34. In this case, if you change the numbers here, this number will change. If you use larger cows and smaller cows here, this relationship of the kill and cow will change. It's already in the formula. If you click here and you look up here, it's the power of all this to the 0.75 divided by the power to the 75. So that's correct. Then when we triple the stocking rate, we increase 570% our supplement and mineral cost. And that's true. We're going to spend more, but bear with me and come to what is real. Oh, and the cow, because she weighs much less, will cost less, $1,300 per 950-pound cow versus $1,500 for a 1,400-pound cow. That's a 450 pounds difference. Okay, so now we go to the ranch profitability calculator. So we have acres per cow. Remember, we started with 740 acres. It's up here. That you can change that number. And at the baseline is 5 acres per cow. At the double, conventional, 2.5 acres per cow. Now, I am not considering hay. So you know that in conventional, if you double your stocking rate, you have to feed much more hay. But under real world ranching guidelines, we feed less than 1 round bale per cow per year. And that's a fact. In different environments, that will vary. But here, that's what we do. When everybody else feeds hay for 5 months, 4 to 5 months. And in the triple, it's 1.67 acres per cow. Now remember, these are smaller cows. Okay, so that's why we can carry more. And the weight is 950 versus 1,400. Conventional number of paddocks per herd. In the conventional, they use 7. I picked a number, 7 paddocks. Double, we went to 16 paddocks. But under total grazing, we use upwards of 1,000 paddocks, which we can create and take down every day with polybraid. So we subdivide paddocks and we create many more paddocks, and that helps us increase productivity much. Total cows, 148, 296, 396, 594. Smaller cows, but more cows managed correctly. Now to double the stocking rate, it's pretty easy. To triple takes more time and knowledge. I'm going to explain why. The body condition score on a 9-point scale will be, let's say, 4.5 in the conventional. It will go down because we have doubled the number of cows and we didn't feed much more, 3.5. and 6 in the smaller cow selected correctly and moving them 4 times a day so they don't drop in body condition. Because they are not dropping in body condition, we can achieve a body score of 6 in a scale from 1 to 9, with 1 being emaciated and 9 being obese. Now, these numbers of body score correlate to pregnancy. Here we can see it. At 3.5, we'll have a 52% pregnancy. So let's go back and see it, if it's true. Pregnancy. 3.5, 52. So that's correct. At 4.5, 73.5. This will vary, no, but I'm just giving the numbers. And at 6, we can give almost a 90% pregnancy rate, which I have achieved over many years in ranches, above 90%. So it's possible on the ground with mud in my boots. It's true. Now, the average winning weight. Under conventional, we said it was 525 pounds. Double stocking rate, it will be slightly lower at 446 pounds, average males and females. And with smaller cows, it would be lower, 394. Hello, Michael. And at triple the stocking rate, even lower winning weights, 368 on average, okay? Now the price per pound, hello, Shane. The price per pound will be $1.60 on the conventional, and because these are smaller, slightly smaller calves, they are a 10% higher price per pound. We can receive $1.76 and $1.76. Those numbers you can change and play with them. So the price of a weaned calf is just the weight times the price. 840, 714, 693, and 647. The total weaned calves, I didn't do any mortality. I put them all the same, so it's the same comparison. I know we have mortality, but I just left it that way. So the total value of weaned animals in the conventional is $91,000. Double conventional, $110,000. Double, but with our guidelines of real world ranching, $245,000. And a triple, $343,800. So the annual direct cost will be the baseline, $44,400. They increase a little when we double the stocking rate. Under conventional, 27%, but here they go up. They will go up higher, and here much higher. As we already saw over here, the direct costs go up 94% and 140% under real wealth ranch when we doubled and tripled our stocking rate. Now, the annual direct cost per cow, we divide this in the number of cows, and we come up with these numbers. Under conventional, it's $300 per cow, and on our best scenario, it's $179 per cow. But that's not what matters. It does. Many cattlemen tell me, "Oh, I'm very proud because I don't feed any supplement." That doesn't put money in my pocket. What puts money in my pocket is what we're going to see now. Because if we don't take money home, nobody's happy. Okay, so now we go to the annual supplement and mineral cost per year of your ranch. We started with $9,000 on the 148 cows, and we doubled that, so it increased to $29,000, $822. And the real world ranch, it increased even for $32,708. And on triple stocking rate, smaller cows, $64,500. So this is the cost per cow per year of supplement and mineral only. 65, 101, 83, 109. So the highest cost per cow is on total, on direct cost, and on supplement and mineral is higher under our guidance. But total annual cost per ranch, $54,000 and $171,000. Gross profit, 37, which is what we sold less the cost, is $37,000 for the conventional, which is barely a living wage. Even lower on the double stocking rate under conventional because we hurt our cow's body condition by increasing to double and not increasing supplement enough. Now you can play with more supplement and change that, of course, to where it's $23,000. But on double the stocking rate with smaller animals is $126,846. And in the triple stocking rate with smaller cows, doing everything correctly, we can gross $172,000 per year. The gross profit per cow will be $252. That's what most people see, gross profit per cow. No, we need to see gross profit per ranch because our limiting factor is how many acres we are managing. Cows we can increase or decrease, but the acreage is more difficult. So we get $252, $80 in the double stocking rate conventional, $320 in the double stocking rate. You may say, oh, I want to stay there. Well, you can, no problem. But as the land improves, it will require you to put more cattle to keep improving. You will find that out. And on the triple stocking rate, $291 per cow. Gross profit per acre, that's where it's interesting. $50, $32, $171, and $233. So that's 4 and sometimes higher than conventional. And you're improving your land. Instead of your land degrading, you're improving it to where your profits will continue to improve as it improves. Now, return on investment. This is very interesting when we try to convince people to go into ranching or when we have family that requires a good profit. The capital invested in land is the same in all scenarios, $2,220,000. The price per cow on the larger cows is $1,500. Hello, Brian. Oh, you said, I'm going to answer that. Maybe you came in late. I explained that when we started because you have to multiply by a factor of 1.34. I'm going to explain later. I don't want to confuse people. So the price per cow is $1,500 and the smaller cow is $1,300, okay? So the cow's capital is $222,000, $444,000 because it's double the number, $514,681 because it's double times the factor that I told you because they are smaller cows, and $772,000 in the smaller cows because they are 532 up here. Now, the total investment is $2,442,000 versus almost $3 million in my scenario. The return on investment will be 1.53, which is even that is better than the bank. That's a very good streamlined operation. Maybe we don't all have that. When we doubled the stocking rate under conventional, it went down to 0.9%. And here is interesting, 4.64% and 5.77%. So that's better. And our return on investment compared to the baseline, which is the conventional, in double the stocking rate is 3 times higher, and triple the stocking rate is almost 3.8 times higher than conventional. So we can play with different numbers if you want to, and I can share them here. Or you have questions. I have a question here. I'm going to start answering questions. Okay. Oh, I need to move here. Yeah. Yeah, this is Javier Bernal. He's asking, is body condition a subjective value? And no, it's not a subjective value, but it's depends on the observer. But if go here and you go to the body condition score, and you have to observe your cows and rank them according to this scale and get an average of your herd. So you may fall in 3, in 6, in 5, or somewhere in between. If they are physically weak, muscle atrophy, outline of spine is visible, outline of ribs is visible, outline of hip and pin bones visible, fat in brisket and flanks, yes or not, some full extreme, fat other and patchy fat around the tail head. You see, when you score them like this, on the top is the American way of scoring from 1 to 9, and on the bottom is the European or South African way of scoring from 1 to 5. So because we are in America, we use the 1 to 9. So this is how you rank them. Now, let's go back to the calculator and see if there are any. Oh yeah, this is important. Yeah, here. You can download the ranch profitability calculator at this direction. I'm going to leave it there for a while so you all can, or you can take a screenshot or take a picture with your cell phone, and then you can download your own and you play with your numbers. And that's the best. I want you all to know how to do this so nobody can come and tell you otherwise. Numbers is how nature works, and it's the way I convince myself when I have many opinions or doubts and I don't know what to do. I go to the Excel spreadsheet and I then surely make the best decisions. Now, not everything is numbers. You have to consider other things, but this is a good way to start. If you or all of you have taken a picture of this, I'm going to go back to other questions. Michael Hoover, I've been practicing your principles. I have a question when it's wet. I run 470 head on 640 acres. That's a very high stocking rate. We just now ran out of stockpile grass a couple of days ago. Wow. And are you in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere? Because I am in the northern hemisphere and I am running out of stockpile because it's very wet and the stockpile is starting to rot. I'm in Tallahassee, Florida. So that's a tough situation. Oh, you're in Missouri. So you have a tall fescue, so that doesn't rot. That's nice. What do you recommend for damp weather? Well, damp or dry, if you're running out of stockpile, you need to feed hay or destock. I'm doing both. I am feeding some hay and destocking the open cows next week. So you have to decide what's best for you in your particular situation. Okay, I hope that answered your question, Michael. Yeah, you have to decide. Any other question? I will. Yes. Oh, you say yes. I'm feeding hay, but I worry about ruining the soil. Oh, okay. I understand. You're worried about pugging and churning the soil. Well, if you don't have any place to put them where they do not churn the soil, like hillsides or the top of the hill, then take them to a sacrifice area or a corral where you can full feed hay. Here, I've been lucky that it's been raining a lot, but I can find places to put them where I can feed them 5 round bales to 340 cows. That's what I feed. And these round bales weigh around 750 pounds. And the rest they have to find in the stockpile forage, which is already turning gray. But I don't have any other option because of so much rain, not much hay is available. Today I secured 240 round bales, but that's it. I need more. So I had to destock some, and those will be the cows that I was holding for a price increase later because they came out open, but now I have to sell them. and you have to pull the trigger when necessary. Yeah, you say we are moving as we fed. Well, yeah, that helps. That's what I do. That works. Now, Dean Moser, is anyone else struggling with sound? I don't know. That's a question for everyone. Is everyone struggling with sound? I would like to know. Please answer. I'm going to go back to this because this is important. You download so you have your own ranch profitability calculator in your computer, and then you can go back to it whenever you want. Now, Javier Bernal says no. That means everyone sounds good. So maybe it's a problem you have, Dean, in your computer. Everyone says it's good. Okay. Now, I would like to say something else. Everything is good, Dean, so it's a problem you have. So I would like to say something else. Doing total grazing to increase your stocking rate without adapted genetics and correct selection guidelines is like pushing on a string. I know because I have done it, and I did it. I'm ashamed of it, but I did it for over 15 years. Maybe 20, until I learned from kind people that know more than me how to do it correctly. So I've been doing it now for a long time. And now I can tell you that having the correct adapted genetics with the correct selection guidelines will take you much further than only the grazing, the short and correct calving season, and the nutrition. It's imperative you have the correct genetics, as many in my WhatsApp group have come to realize. Sometimes we need to experience it, so we change. That happened to me. So no problem. You do it at your own pace. Okay? Yes, everybody can hear me fine. Okay, and any other questions? I will be glad to answer before we wrap up and you download your own ranch profitability calculator. Oh, Pali Borko says here, Jim, what would you say about small frame like Galloway? Depends on environment. Galloway, they come from Scotland, where it's cold and damp, most of the year. So if you're in that environment and you have a good market for your calves, then do it. But at the sale barn, they discount them heavily. So if you're going to sell at the sale barn, I advise you not to do that. But yes, you need to start with what you have. This is a good one. Miguel Molina, but you need to start with what you have. That's absolutely true. I had Girolando. I had a graves area in the tropics, and I had to start with that. And they were terrible performance. So I changed to tropical milking criollo. It took me time, but now I have a superbly adapted, efficient, and functional herd. So I'm doing so much better in that aspect. So this calculator here is so you can play with different scenarios and you can see where you want to get to. Everybody wants to go to this, to higher profitability, improving the land. But what do you need to do to achieve that? Well, you need to change your genetics. You need to change the way you graze. Instead of 16 paddocks, you need upwards of 1,000. You have to have in the correct time of the year for profits and health. You have to select correctly your adapted genetics or you will not get there. So I urge you to register for the courses that are coming up at our webpage. Now, another question here. Kelsey Mitchell, if we have unadapted cattle and are moving to better genetics, but it will take several years to get there, can you still implement 4 times a day total grazing? Yes, you can. But it will cost you more, or you will lose body condition. And you cannot do a grazing so total as if you had adapted genetics. You will get less cow days per grazing per acre with unadapted cattle, and you will have more problems. That's the truth, because I did it, and it took me 7 years after I committed to change my genetics to change all my herd. But from the first cross, I could see the huge improvement. So I got better animals and cows in 3 years after starting. Another question here. Or will your larger poor genetic cattle fall apart? Well, that depends on you, on how strict you are in your cooling and how strict you are in what you demand of them. If you don't demand too much of them, you may do. But it will still be much better than conventional. You will still get so much more, even with that. But you will be able to identify your best animals. And with conventional, you will never be able to identify your best animals. Now you're only talking about the animal, the cattle. Why don't we look at the other part of the equation? Your lifestyle and your land. Was your land improving with conventional cattle? Or will it really improve by changing the way you do things? It will. For me, that's the big thing. Changing that. What I usually recommend is to change gradually by using better adapted bulls. So the first calf crop next year will be better. And after that, every year you will be improving. And then you become stricter in your cooling criteria as you have more better adapted females that you can replace the cool cows that were not so well adapted. It took me 7 years to reach that point. But as I said, for example, mortality went down to almost nil when before I had high mortality with supposedly well-adapted genetics, but they were not well-adapted. It wasn't true because they selected them for high milk production, not for survival. We need survival genes in our herd to where we can produce more with less. If not, it's like pushing on a string. Okay, Javier Bernal has a question here. Do you revise the land value every year depending on market value? That depends on how much precise you want to be. I do it like every 5 years, but if I am hard pressed, I do it every year. But I don't go so much as return investment as I do on this number here, gross profit, this one, because this is the money I take home with the money that I paid our daughter's tuition in college, the money that I used to pay my house and everything, or to buy another ranch. So for me, this is the most important number, the gross profit, after I paid off the ranch. If the ranch is not paid off, then this number is very important, the return on investment. So it depends. That's why leasing land sounds so good on paper, because you don't have the cost of the land, which is, if you analyze it, the land capital is the highest number, higher than cows, 3 times higher. But if you don't secure a long-term lease, that can turn into a nightmare, and it has happened to me. So that's why I said numbers is not everything. Okay. Then another question. Starting out in Australia, what do you think of Angus Limousin cross? Angus is a British breed, which is early maturing, and Limousin is usually later maturing. At least the ones in France, where they come from. I consulted for a farm there. So they do not complement each other as well as others, because the Limousin, being late maturing, will go against the early maturity of the Angus. If you take my online course, I explain it in detail there. It's a very good online course where you will learn all that in detail. Here, Pablo Berger. What about to keep across AA with Hereford or maybe triple cross? Yeah, sure. You can make a composite. And I explain how to build your own composite in my online course. Yes, but after you create your composite with the best individuals possible, you need to apply correct selection guidelines to get the desired animal. If not, you will go like most people do and end up with the wrong type of animal. We need to let nature show us what is the best animal and never contradict nature. Labor for grazing and keeping cattle is included in this formula, correct? Yes, they are here in the annual direct cost per ranch. So you plug in your numbers here, and then these come up automatically. Well, not here, you do it up here. See? And here is where you enter your own ranch numbers. Can you see them? Let me. Yeah. Here, this is where you put your numbers, and then everything else changes with the formula that we built into that. Shane Blakely, using a 5% return investment is good enough. Well, I would prefer more, but land prices in the US are so exaggerated, so high, that it's hard to make a 5% return investment when 95% of ranchers are losing money. So they have a negative return on investment. So I would think under that scenario, 5% is very good. Now there are other ways to make a higher return investment, but not right now. We're talking about ranching and improving the land. Now, Jonathan Valerio, we are expecting low temperatures northeastern Mexico. We have 25 acres of a mix of Bermuda that is not ready for grazing. Do you recommend we graze before the cold weather or wait to see if it survives? No, absolutely. Graze it before, because once frozen, the quality goes way down. So use it before it gets frosted, if you can do it. Okay, well, next week, our live Facebook session will be an informal chat of questions and answers where we can talk more about this after you have the week to play with your, let me get you there. After you have a way, let me find here. After you play with numbers for your specific ranch or lease land, if you have this land, you can subtract that and only add the cost of the lease. Now, if you see, I didn't put any hay there. So you have to plug in your hay numbers. I hope you do what I suggest in my Total Grazing online course about not using hay and building other ways to feed your cows through the non-growing season. So once you download your ranching profitability calculator and play with it for this week, I would like to see you here next Wednesday at the same time, 7:30, and we can go further in depth in this matter. Another question. How do your principles differ from ranching for profit? Ooh, huge. Ranching for profit is more about accounting. For example, they say that you should graze the top third of the grass and come back faster, and that will somehow grow more grass. I say do total grazing, where you take most all grass, stems and leaves, and allow a longer rest period. Taking more cow days per acre allows you a much longer rest period. So that's one of the main differences. Then I go into adapted genetic selection guidelines, which they do not as much. In the short and correct calving season, we are very much similar. But if you notice, they mostly teach in the western states, and they do not come to teach in the eastern states. We should ask why. It's much more difficult in the eastern states and the southeast than in the west, because the environment is so different. We have hot and muggy nights, and they have cold and crisp nights. That makes a whole world of a difference in forage quality and in animal comfort. So yeah, very different. Okay, So I'm going to close, and I wish you all a good evening and see you next week. Thank you. Bye.